Biafra, superstars, media.
Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Biafra Superstars Media. Before I present to you a special guest, I want you to listen to his voice. I want you to feel the pain in his voice. Because this speaker, he's based in the zoo. This speaker, he lives in the zoo. And this speaker is going through the economic hardship, the trauma. Lord have mercy. The economic sabotage and pain, poverty happening in that zoo. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the Biafran golden child to give us a first account of what is happening in that zoo, Nigeria, and to also give out a sounding warning to that idiot that they call BAYO, Onanuga. Without any further ado, I present to you the Biafran golden child. Thank you.
Yeah, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you're hearing my voice from. Because, I'm always, excited when I have the privilege to talk to our people, to talk to my listeners via the Biafra Superstar Media. Yes, I'm really thankful and grateful. Yeah, but today I have to be brief about this because the topic I want to talk about is not an exciting one. It's not, something to, you know, dwell upon, because it's a very sad one. Yes, the media is awash, it is, all over Nigeria, both the social media and the Nigerian dailies and the televisions. There's been a continuous and, constant, news about uh, the planned protest, which the end bad government in Nigeria protest that has been scheduled for the 1st of August. This mass protest has generated a lot of controversy and has actually, created so much unpalatable, tension and, unhappiness amongst the ruling political party, amongst the government. And we were just watching things, taking it as a normal flow. We were just watching it as, citizens who, of course, are concerned about what is happening in their country. Yes, and all this while we're hoping that somehow, that the government would actually change its ways. The government would, assure its people of candid and, a verifiable approach to change the downtrend of governance. Because a lot of people began to see that Nigeria had become extremely very difficult to survive in. We are now living, hand to mouth, so to speak. It has become a rat race since this present administration, where people can no longer afford the basic essentials, necessities of life. And so when this protest has, the announcement had come on, the mobilization for it had come on, we were hoping that, the government will be proactive, so to speak, to make sure it doesn't happen. Yeah, but our attention has been drawn now to what I would call a defense mechanism, a reaction technique by the government to push blames to begin to point hands at really unfortunate, because of course we know a hungry man is an angry man, and sincerely, Nigerians have been hungry for a long time. Nigerians have been hungry for a long time. We have suffered so much, especially since this administration started on its inception. The very day President Bola Ahmed Tinubu was inaugurated as Nigeria's president, the first thing he said was that oil subsidy is gone. Oil subsidy is no more. And so from that very day, Nigerians have begun to suffer, because when the elephants fight, it is the grass that suffers. I don't know who the oil cabals are. I don't know who the economic saboteurs are. But when you come and remove oil subsidy and these people are fighting back from all corners, it is the ordinary citizens that suffer. Fuel had gone up. Diesel had gone up. DPK had gone up. Even the gas for cooking has gone up beyond the ordinary person. Nigerians have endured enough. You have told us tighten our belts until there's no more waste, for a belt. People have seen, there was one audio I sent, and I said people have started seeing their back. When a man sees his back, of course, we know what it means. It means it's all over for him. It means the die is cast. It means he's a dead man. And so Nigerians have suffered. People are hungry. Not just hungry. People are excessively hungry. Now people, even to drink garri is impossible. How do they make ends meet? Criminal activities have increased because people can no longer, fend for themselves. Husbands can no longer fend for their families. Mothers can no longer go to the market and buy anything reasonable. When we were growing up, we used to know that every time our mother came back from the market or she went out, she comes back with goodies for us. It's either she bought us puff puff then, it's either she bought us cake, pancake, akara, it's either she got us banana and granite to go with it. You know that anytime your mother went to the market, of course, some goodies will follow her. Turn to 2024. 2024, I don't think there's any mother now who goes to the market and remembers to buy puff puff. I don't think there's any mother who buys akara now for her children. I don't think there's any mother who can easily afford buying banana and granite, because of course the money is not there. And what they have taught Nigerians is to continuously be doing a scale of preference. The economic principles of scale of preference have become everything to every Nigerian, because of the little money you have in your hand, the little means you have to get so much, to acquire, to buy things that are way beyond you. As soon as you get into the market now, you'll be doing your arithmetic. Do I buy yam or do I buy beans? Instead of yam, can I get some potato? Because of course yam is beyond my reach. A yam that used to be 600 naira way back, 800 naira way back, is now 3,900. Potato, one, two, three, four measures of potato that used to be probably 400 in the past is now 2,700. You want to buy ogu vegetable? No, you can't afford it. Okay, let me try green. Green used to be cheaper. You go to green, it is way beyond you. And so parents are beginning to, mothers are scribbling, doing all kinds of mathematics in their brain. What do I buy? I wanted to make egusi soup. Egusi, but a cup of egusi is beyond me. Can I go to Obono? The cup of Obono is even 3 times the cost of egusi. Okay, let us go for vegetable. How many vegetables are you going to buy that will make a soup for a family of 4, for a family of 5? And so no mother goes to the market again and have any change to buy puff, to buy banana, to buy granite for their children. This is what Nigeria has become. Every day people are doing mathematics, calculating how will today pass? How can I feed my children? How can we get water to drink? Even the pure water that used to be 5 naira before, pure water is now Every bag, you want to buy a bag of pure water, it has become 350 to 400 naira. How many families can afford pure water? We're not talking about bottled water here. That is for the elite. That is for the super rich now. How many people can afford pure water? Of course, remember the issue of water is a perennial problem in Nigeria. Because how many boreholes do you have? A lot of people, even the wells are no longer clean. Go into your well now, people have dug wells. By the time you put your buckets into the well to fetch, you're bringing out water mixed with a lot of grease. Water that is brownish, that is not drinkable. Even to wash your clothes, it's impossible. And so this is what Nigerians have found themselves. A lot of people, graduates now, are security workers. They are employed by security outfits where they are forced to wear uniforms and big boots with heavy belts on their waist that have become so tiny that they look like Superman. Unfortunately, they are also called Superman, not because they have six packs. Their Supermanness is in the bigness of the jackets they are wearing, trousers they are wearing, boots they are wearing, without a tummy that lacks food, tummy that lacks water, tummy that is not sure of the next meal to eat. And so this is what Nigerians find themselves, and it cuts across all boards. And so when people began to think about this, laborers are working on wages that are below self-sustenance. How can even the so-called 35,000 minimum wage that had been on for several years, not very few states, exploited that opportunity. And so labor is demanding for more because of the high prices of things. Bread is beyond the common man. Bread, those days it was a staple food in any house. In the morning you wake up, you get a loaf of bread, you make tea, and then children rush to school. Now, how can you, a family of, let me just use a family of four, husband, wife, and four children. A loaf of bread that can feed a family of four now, six, it cannot be less than 4,000 naira. You want to buy any sizable loaf now, it cannot be less than 2,000. And this 2,000 between two children of maybe 8, 9, 10 years cannot even be enough. Then you think of, adolescent children. You think of husband and wife. And so Nigeria has become totally, completely, a no survival zone. No more opportunities for survival, except every day you begin to pray, you begin to wish. People have prayed and prayed, fasted and fasted, nothing still happens. Meanwhile, you're hearing about the super rich, the expansive and expensive life of your rulers. I mean, senators are buying bulletproof cars, ministers are buying bulletproof jeeps, the presidency is ordering super jets, jets, planes. Everybody is living large as if, they've hit so much money. But look at the people they govern. The citizens are living in perpetual penury, perpetual poverty and lack. This is wickedness of the highest order. And so the youths came up and said, no, enough is enough. We have seen the sufferings of our fathers. We have seen the sufferings of our mothers. This cannot go on. If they cannot help us, then let us come out to the streets. Let us demonstrate. Let us show this government that we are not happy. We cannot continue to show the outside world, a fake picture, giving the impression that Nigerians are living in a super and comfortable environment. When you are driving jeeps all over, you're showing palatial houses, mansions built with ill-gotten money. This is what you show them. But meanwhile, the majority of the populace are living in abject poverty. A lot of people have abandoned their homes because they cannot pay their house rents. They are now living under the bridges. Living under the bridges, taking shelters in uncompleted homes, uncompleted buildings. People are living in the churches. Some are running to mosques to sleep. Some sleep under staircases in neighborhoods that they don't, and when they are caught, they are beaten as criminals. They're driven out wounded. Meanwhile, we have a government. We have a government. And so when the youths decided to, they consider what was happening, the insecurity in the state, the insecurity in the country. Every other day, people have been abducted. Every other day, people have been kidnapped. Every other day, people have been killed. I mean, they look at what is happening all over the place. NEPA, there's no power. People are suffering in darkness. You want to the last football that was being played, anywhere you go to any gaming center, you see populations far exceeding expectations because everybody wants to catch a glimpse of the football. They can't watch it at their homes. Of course, they cannot afford the DSTV by the multi-trust providers, which keeps escalating at astronomical cost. What is the government doing about the citizens? The cost of everything has gone high. Food has gone high. To watch your entertainment at home, you can't because the service providers have increased their money beyond our imagination, all chasing the dollar, the increment in the dollar, as if Nigeria is a dollar economy. Yes, yeah, of course, Nigeria is a dollar economy because the so-called rulers, the so-called presidents, governors, ministers, senators, House of Reps, our leaders generally are spending their monies in dollars. They have monumental money. The naira is too much for them to carry, so they change it to dollars. And because of this, the dollar continues to increase, increasing, without falling. Meanwhile, the generality of the public are living in poverty and ruin. And so when these youths came up and said, this is enough, enough is enough. We need to mobilize against it. We need to come and let people know, let the whole world know. Yes, we're following the Kenyan example. Let us come out. Let people know Nigerians are suffering. We cannot continue to judge about it. We cannot continue to hide it anymore. We cannot continue. Let the world see that Nigeria has become totally incapable of taking care of itself. Let the whole world see that Nigeria has failed as a country. And so what do they get? They have given the government time. If we don't see changes, come 1st August, we are going to come out en masse, everywhere, everywhere. Will make Nigeria ungovernable. We are coming to Asorok. We are coming to every capital city. We are moving to everywhere. We'll make sure nothing works. We'll stop everything. Of course, they have said it. The government initially thought it was a joke. They thought it was a joke and they were laughing over it. Time has come. The time has gotten shorter. Today is 23rd August, July 2024. And so they are counting the days. Very soon we'll be counting the hours. But what did the government do? What are they doing now? Suddenly, the same government that had looked elsewhere, the same government that has played a wolf, the same government that has never bothered about its citizens, is now all of a sudden talking to the youths, telling them, don't do this. Please calm down about this. Don't be misled. Don't be misled. Don't listen to people like Peter Obi. Don't listen to people like Nnamdi Kanu. They can never take you to anywhere. They are deceiving you. All of a sudden, the government is now pointing, accusing fingers at the presidential candidate of the Labour Party, Peter Obi, and also our leader, Nnamdi Kanu. These are people who have made statements and continue to propagate, hatred against the government that makes youths want to protest. I mean, BAYO Onanuga was very clear about that. He was clear, saying that Peter Obi and Co will be arrested. They are brains behind this protest. My dear BAYO Onanuga, I think you should be properly guided. Nigerians have seen it all. Even the blind man knows Nigeria has failed. Everybody now can see clearly that when your master, when your the man you work for, when your principal, the governor, the president of this country, came on and told Nigerians, Emilio, come, it is my turn. When he came up and said, here we are, my chance have come. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu spoke so well, everybody thought Yes, we have reached the promised land. Fortunately, from the very day of inception, from his inauguration, the country became a quagmire. Nigeria became suddenly ruined and recklessly moving towards complete annihilation, unfortunately. Mr. Onanuga, you have to be very careful. You guys have to be very, very careful. I was privileged to watch, the younger brother of former Ekiti State Governor, uh, you know, Mr. Isaac Fayose. I was privileged to watch him, make statements that has equally gone viral. And Mr. Isaac Fayose was very clear to warn, the so-called speech makers, image makers of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to desist from any attempt to insult, to arrest, or to cause P2B to come into public opprobrium. They warned him that if you do this, you are setting the bomb that will blow everything away. You better be careful. Nobody, tickles a champion. P2B, whether you like it or not, is a man Nigerians have come to love. They loved him from the election day. They loved him during his campaigns. And the election day, they gave him their votes. Take it or leave it, we know who won the election. Take it or leave it, we know what happened during the elections. We don't need to go backwards. INEC did their special arrangements, and somehow, abracadabras changed figures. And we know today that when they were shouting labor, labor during the counting, all of a sudden it became APC. And to date, everybody knows that the man who was vigorously and regularly voted for worldwide, nationwide, was P2B. But of course, Emilio Khan eventually emerged as the leader. But P2B has remained for us a very solid personality to look upon because he brings what I might call a veritable opposition to this government. It is a source of public awareness. I mean, when the President Tibola Ahmed Tinubu enunciates programs and directives about things to be done, P2B eventually explains it to the people and tells them, look, I don't think this will do this way, but I think if it is done this way, there could be a better achievement. I mean, for his business acumen, from what he gathered as a governor in Anambra State, where he moved the country, the state, to very wonderful and highly, appreciated heights. I think anytime P2B speaks, he knows what he's talking about. P2B has come to tell us that even if you want your your naira to improve, to be at par with the dollar, it's not about going to your coffers and bringing out your dollars that should be kept for posterity. No, you should build factories. You should begin to produce things. You should make your place confident and conducive for business. Provide light. Settle the issues of light. You should make housing, affordable for people. If you want Nigerian people to come to and invest in your country, you make your country habitable. P2B has always been a source of public awareness. His criticisms of government, policies are healthy and relevant in any democracy. I mean, people, if you don't talk about the government, if you don't tell them what you think they are doing wrong, I mean, then we are all living a fool's paradise. That means we'll all be blinded. But this is the man who always comes out and he begins to, bring up ideas. Ideas that if the government copies, if the government receives well, will move Nigeria forward. All we are looking for at the end of the day is how Nigeria will hold its heads high in the community of nations, how Nigeria will be economically empowered, how youths will be gainfully employed, how small and medium, enterprises can grow. This is what we want. So MPTOB brings up some of these things. Unfortunately, the government perceives this as a distraction, and they point accusing fingers at him. I will warn all of us, with all due respect, by Onanuga, you and your principal should be very careful. If you arrest P2B or you try to, by any manner undermine his personality, you will make Nigeria excessively ungovernable. I don't think P2B is the source of any instigation for youths who have parents who are crying of hunger, who have mothers and grandmothers and grandfathers who cannot eat or drink garri. Nigeria, nobody needs to tell you to protest because the issues concern you too. There are people who don't eat. The other day I was driving and a man came to meet me. I thought maybe he was trying to ask for direction or whatever. He told me, Oga, please, my children have not eaten swallow. My children have not eaten soup for the past 1 month. Can you help me? My children have not eaten swallow. It has come to that when a family cannot afford any kind of soup. Even okra soup that used to be the cheapest soup, how many people can cook it? How many people can afford it? Can you afford a egusi soup? Ogbono soup? The man told me, my dear brother, please help me. I'm sorry to bother you, sir. Please help me. My children have not eaten swallow for 1 month. What to eat? They will buy, if we can get to a sachet of indomie, we'll get a sachet of spaghetti. We do. Please, sir. I was appalled. I was shocked to the bones. I developed goose pimples because I could relate with that. I could relate with that. People are hungry. People are dying. And what is the government doing? The government is playing the ostrich. The government is playing the ostrich, burying his hands in sand. It can't pass away. The problem won't pass away. You have to face it headlong. You have to face it headlong. Or else you're wasting your time. Equally, the BAYO Onanuga is sensitizing everybody and calling for further, you know, he insists that Nnamdi Kanu and the IPOB movement are also behind the brains behind this mass protest. Of course, we all know that our maximum leader is in the gaolas of DSS. I don't know how he can do anything from an incarcerated position. And moreover, the gentleman has always spoken the truth. He has told people, he believes in freedom, that people should enjoy equal rights and justice. That has been the slogan of Nnamdi Kanu everly. Equal rights and justice. Justice should be seen to be done. And he has preached, like Martin Luther King, he has always insisted that injustice anywhere is injustice everywhere. He has insisted that people should not be judged, because they are Igbos or because of where they come from, but they should be taken by the contents of their character. This has been the mantra of our maximum leader Nnamdi Kanu. And so I don't know where BAYO Onanuga and his cohorts are getting this idea that he is the brain behind, the so-called mass protest. Equally, our dear Prime Minister Simon Ekpa has overly insisted that justice should be done too. He has borrowed from his leader. He has preached peace. He has preached the fact that you should recognize that every man, every human being have their rights to be free, the rights to decide where to be, the right to congregate anywhere, the right to chase their dreams, the right to develop themselves and expect maximum opportunities. Never to be thwarted, never to be intimidated, never to be ambushed, never to be denied their inalienable right to succeed, which is what the Igbos are suffering. So he has told every lover of freedom, he has told every person who is an Igbo man, if you cannot get this from this country you call Nigeria, if you cannot be guaranteed your basic human rights, if you cannot aspire in this country called Nigeria, then let us move down to Biafra. Let us move to the United States of Biafra come 2nd December 2024. So, why is the BAYO Onanuga, why is the President Tinubu suddenly scared, suddenly bothered about Nnamdi Kanu, even incarceration? BAYO Onanuga is trying to stoke the fire of tribalism. When he's mentioning Nnamdi Kanu, he's mentioning a P2B, Easterners. He's trying to be tribal in his sentiments. And I want to assure him, if they continue on this path, If they arrest further dehumanizing Nnamdi Kanu, if they arrest P2P, they'll be digging their own graves. I don't want to say more, I don't want to say less, but I want them very careful. Nigerians are restive. The youth see what happens overseas because of social media, because of televisions. They are seeing youths in other countries, youths in other lands doing powerfully well. But in their country, is they the same 5 and 6? I mean, in a country where some people have been in power. AGIP, AGIP, any government in power, they've been in power back to back for 30 years, 35 years, as governors, as House of Reps, as senators, as ministers, as everything, back to back, one person, as if this family owns Nigeria. We have been hearing the same names day in, day out. Meanwhile, people are coming out from schools. Meanwhile, the young men are coming out, becoming adults. Meanwhile, women are coming out, becoming madams, mommies. No hope for them. And so they say enough is enough. Come 1st August, we will take to the streets. We'll make Nigeria ungovernable until we see results. Rather than address their issues, look into their pleas, look into their condition, look into their criteria, look into their demands. You are now pointing hands. BAYO Onanuga, let me make this abundantly clear to you. When you point one hand at somebody, 4 is pointing back at you. You're pointing at Nnamdi Kanu, fingers are pointing back at you. You're pointing a finger to P2B, 4 fingers are pointing back at you. Go and do your homework. Tell your principal to sit up. You should hit the ground running. Tell your principal to sit up. Look at what happened in America recently. President Joe Biden, told himself the truth. I think I'm old enough. I think I'm getting tired. I think I can no longer operate as usual. I think it's about time I stepped down. And he gave a more youthful opportunity to his vice. Can this ever happen in Africa? Can this ever happen in Nigeria, where we have sit-tight leaders, sit-tight presidents who believe that is their right, it's their turn, it's perpetually their right to be there? I'm not saying you should go and protest. I pray there will be dialogue. I pray there will be an understanding. But I'm insisting, let justice be done and be seen to be done. Let Nigerians' wealth flow around. Let the oil money go around. Let Nigeria's money, let Nigeria's everything Nigeria not be shared amongst the few, the elite, the political class. No. For only the cabal. No. Let the cabal that is holding this country by the jugular, in the oil sector, in the finance sector, in agriculture, food and supplies, let them be broken. Let farmers go to their farms to farm without being abducted, without being kidnapped. Nigeria should call a spade a spade. The Boko Haram has come for too long, stayed too long. They can be thrown away, chased away if we are serious. Insecurities can be handled. The reckless fall of the naira to the dollar can be taken care of if they listen to pundits like P2B, who has told them, create factories, go into manufacturing. When people buy your products, your currency will stand. We have been told, don't use dollar as a currency in your country, as a means of exchange. Why should schools be insisting you pay in dollars for your words? Why should certain things be done in even visa fees in embassies are requested in dollars? Why? As a country with a sovereignty, don't you know it's not right? These are the things BAYO Onanuga should be telling his principal and not begin to point hands here and there. That is chasing shadow and not gain. But I'm very hopeful, no matter what happens, that come 2nd December 2024, all these things will be a thing of the past for the Igbo in particular, because we are heading towards our United States of Biafra. God bless you all and thank you.
Yeah, check me out. Superstars Media. Lord Logan, Bloomington, Lord Logan, and it's wild Flora show. 1914 amalgamation is what we dying for. 3 nations to 1 nation, ever since annihilation. Nepotism is nonsense. You and you, clap your hands. Biafra gonna come, clap your hands. Biafra, Oduduwa, we're free now. Freedom is gonna come, we're free now. Yeah.